Welcome to Let's Talk World, where I bring you inspiring stories and thought-provoking conversations. Today, we have a truly fascinating guest, Paul Prows. Paul is a serial entrepreneur, life coach, author, and performance coach who has dedicated his life to helping others realize their greatness. With over 20 years in the audio-video industry, multiple published books, and a deep passion for personal and spiritual growth, he continues to push the boundaries of what's possible. Currently, he's working on a nonprofit organization where he shares insight from his ability to communicate with the intelligences of the universe. We have so much to dive into today. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, Paul, my first question to you is, you built multiple companies and helped countless people through coaching. What first sparked your passion for entrepreneurship and personal development?
Something in my upbringing, something in my history, I've always been interested in helping people to find their own success. There's something there in my history that I'm not sure all of it, but I know that I am very curious about what it is that makes a person or helps a person to get where they can be. And I'm really interested, I think I'm a bit of an idealist. I'm really interested in looking at what the highest level that we can achieve is as human beings and trying to go after that. So the idea is that if people can obtain and absorb the ideas that was going to assist them or help them, then I'm all in on that.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe that every single person have its highest potential. And according to studies, humans are only reaching half of their potential. And if we have people like you who actually try to help them push to the highest potential, we would be in a better place in this world. Don't you agree?
Thank you. I agree. And there's a very interesting balance in this because there are a lot of people that feel like they have the answers, right? They feel like that they know what to do. But there's a particularly difficult balance, and that is to try to inspire the individual to help themselves, right? To lift themselves up. Because you can talk to them all you want with great ideas, right? But until they're ready, until they are willing to step up inside themselves, it doesn't really do so much work, so much good. But if a person's willing and really receptive and interested in their own personal development, then I think that a coach can really help them out.
Wow, that actually means a lot. What do you think about people? There's a lot of people. I've seen so many now actually coming up as a coach. And I've talked to a lot of people who are claiming that they are coach. And I see a gap in their own personal development. What do you think about those, how can we fix that? Because it's really more of leading people on the wrong direction, because if those coaches cannot actually help themselves and trying to help others, that's the wrong direction.
You hit it well on the head. Let me say something I believe is absolute accurate, and that is you teach what you are. And so you can talk about, all these great ideas, right? But until a person sees you as a master, as accomplished, as developed in that area, they're just like, do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's important that that we have integrity. Mm-hmm. So that what it is that we're talking about, what it is we're sharing with other people, mm-hmm. that we have a good handle on it, like we're living it ourselves. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, there's a big distance there, right? It's a problem, right?
Yes.
And so when it comes to coaching, it's important that you stay in the areas that you have competency in, right? That you can talk about things, because anybody can say, well, I've got all these great ideas, right? But until you can know it and live it, it's not near as effective.
So what's Paul Prows' experience or background to become a coach?
That's a really great question. I think that's a question for like every coach, right? Like, because anybody can say that they're a coach, but
Yeah.
so what, right? Like, what is it? I think that early on, this was going back a ways, I noticed that when I met a person or I saw them, that there was a whole bunch of information that I started getting from them. Like, I could sense their mood, I could sense how they felt about themselves. There was all this information that was coming at me, and I didn't really ask for it, but it was coming, right? And so one way or the other, I had this intuitive nature about me, where I can just sense a lot about a person without them even saying anything sometimes. And so if I can utilize this, which I feel like is very fundamental, very basic to who they are, then I think that's a really great start. Because if I can understand a person, if I can truly get inside their skin, in their soul level, then I think that's the best beginning. Because if a person doesn't feel understood, if they don't feel like a person is aware of them or even listening to them, the other aspect I think is that I was taught at a young age that it's very important to listen. And so I spend a lot of time asking questions. And I feel like this is kind of like the Socrates thing, where if you ask a question, that when people formulate their answer, when they verbalize what it is that is their truth at the moment, it's very important. Because most of the time, I think we synthesize our values, our beginnings, our belief system by speaking.
Yep.
And if they don't give an opportunity to speak, like if they feel like they're going to be shunned or judged or criticized. So I really spend a lot of time listening, and then I ask questions, and then follow-up questions, and then a follow-up question on that. And I feel like this is the way to facilitate a person's growth, right?
Yep.
Is to help them to create their own world. And most of that is by speaking or writing, but it's giving them a forum to develop themselves. And so in that sense, I don't think coaching is necessarily maybe the right word, but maybe a facilitator. A mentor,
Yeah.
but more of a someone that believes in and understands and loves that person, and then kind of uses that great energy to help them to expand who they are. And then once they are expanding and they're growing, to emphasize and encourage that growth. Because often we get these little spurts of brilliance, right? But then we don't follow up.
Yep.
And so if you have someone who's going to be there with you to encourage you and to motivate you over a long period of time, then I feel like that creates a really special place for learning.
Wow, yes. I hear you saying about asking questions and also kind of articulating or putting together how people act, their personality act, the way they talk together. And then you can come up with how would you help a person. Is that correct?
Yes. I think to know them, to know what they're about, their things that are important to them. I think that's really key to getting them to open up and to share. And as I mentioned, when they share, then it lets them see themselves better, but it also lets me see them better, and then we can take whatever it is that's going on with them and kind of expand on that.
So how do you think your clients or these people or whoever you mentor, how do they face of unlocking their own potential and learn how to grow? as a person, with your help. Did you how many do you have like clients
Yes,
base?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say that all of us, inside of us,
Mm-hmm.
just built into being a human, is that we all want to improve.
Yeah.
We all see our foibles, we all see our problems, right? And we all want to step it up, to move to a different place, particularly when a problem comes up, right? Where we have something that's like really disconcerting and very difficult for us. What we want to do is we want to step out of that. We want to get to the clearing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think, for the most part, that I have had to encourage people to want to like improve themselves. I feel like that's built into us.
Mm-hmm.
It's native to us being as human beings. But there are often these difficulties that show up, these times when they kind of feel like they're blocked, or that they don't know how to, or that they're lost for ideas on where the next step. I think that's where a coach can come in to help them in that way. Because what I like to do is, I see that, for example, in your life, you had a certain upbringing, right? Your parents taught you something, your teachers, your churches, all these different inputs into your life, right?
Yep.
And then you want to become yourself, independent from that. And so most of the people are stuck. They're stuck in these narrow little ideas that they were brought up with. So I think it's very, very helpful for people if someone can give them some alternatives. Like, if you thought about it this way, what do you think would happen? Well, if you thought about it this way, and give them some options, some other approaches. Now, they may not be in the right place to learn from that, right? They may not. I mean, it takes a real good headspace to like really tackle that. Like, for example, some of my clients, I'll drop an idea in on them, and they like, okay, and it'll be like 5 years, and they'll come back to me and they'll say, "You remember that time when you told me this?" Like, I know, but they did, right? But something happens. All the processes of the universe start to coalesce. They start coming together to where at some point down the road, this person is able and willing to look at that concept, that idea, and then all of a sudden it's like this big aha. It's like, great.
Wow. Well, we're just getting started, Paul. After the break, we'll discuss his journey as an author, the impact of his books, and what inspires his writing. So stay with us.
I spent a month in New York and a month in Jamaica trading Tom Cruise and Brian Brown in a movie cocktail.
I want to do what that guy's doing.
It made Flair mainstream.
Lights are set, judges are ready.
I stood there probably 20 minutes and just watched. I had goosebumps.
It's so difficult, it's so extreme.
Somebody should do a documentary.
Showmanship has been a big part of bartending since day one.
And then Vegas just blew up because, entertainment capital of the world. I wanted to win.
$50,000, $100,000 purses at different competitions around the world.
I don't think people have ever really seen what we do to prepare for these things.
Chapow.
This is what it's all about.
So what went wrong? Egos took over and things were said which shouldn't have been said. It was going bigger and bigger and bigger.
There are growing fears of prolonged instability on Wall Street.
The money went out the window. You can sell a cocktail. You can't sell flair behind the bar. We had to deal with the prissy-ass bartenders.
We all want to be the best.
Well, my move is more difficult because I make it look easy.
Nights like tonight make me want to just stop competing because I don't think I'm cut out for it.
And I was standing there with my tooth broke right in half.
Why do I do this? Why do I suffer through this?
I don't really know why it's male-dominated.
There's absolutely male toxicity.
You want to play with glass, you're going to cut yourself.
Literally was up here and we touched bottom.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
Cucumber. Hi, I'm Malik Brooks Bay, here to talk to you about our film Hip Hop Dreams. I'm so excited when I think about it. Cells in my body, they just scream out and they leap so much, my feet come off the ground. Yeah, man, I'm so excited to talk about it. I'm so excited to bring it to the theaters in 2025, but I need your help. Hip Hop Dreams is about these 5 guys surviving off heists, living in Las Vegas. And they realize that banks don't have much money in them nowadays, so it's not a viable option anymore. Banks got just debits and credits now. That's all it is, just a building with debits and credits. So they find a heist that's gonna set them up. It goes off, but not without complications. Now they're pursuing their dream. Nothing can stop them now. It's in bloom. The feds come, interrupt the dream. Now we have to go to part 2. Hip Hop Dreams, The Takeover, and then Hip Hop Dreams, World Domination. It's a 3-part series. So some people have called it a cross between Purple Rain, Player Club, and Takers. However, we need your help to bring Hip Hop Dreams to the theater. We're about 70% cast. We've got about 80% of the locations identified and or secured. But to bring it across the line here in 2025, we need your help. So I'm here compelling you, begging you to donate to our cause to bring Hip Hop Dreams to the screen. Now, anything will help. We appreciate it. And I want to say thanks in advance for that. So if you donate something,
You've written 4 books, 1 traditionally published and 3 self-published. What inspired you to start writing and what themes do you explore?
Great question, thank you. I feel like books in general come from some concern or problem within us, right? That we're writing because we had this experience, we had this concern in our lives, and we want to write about it or write about the solution of it, right? Mm-hmm. And most of my books are in the format of being able to evaluate what's going on with me, almost like a journal. Mm-hmm. And then about 30 years ago, I had this very, very interesting experience. I had read some things about some people that had been able to communicate direct to what I call the divine. That could be God or the source or whatever you want to call that, right? Mm-hmm. Having this communication. And I thought about this, and actually in my religious background, there was some of that as well. I thought about this, and I thought, I wonder if I could possibly do that, if that's a possibility, or if it's just limited to certain people, you know what I mean? Because the way I was taught, it was just limited to a certain layer of people, right? But I tried to explore it. And to give you some background on it, meditation really never worked very well for me because my head is going all over the place, and I had done a little bit of writing, but then what I figured out is that if I get my mind quiet and then ask a question, that I get these ideas that flow to me. And I found out that if I write what it is that is shared with me from that source, then what happens is that I have this stream of really great ideas that comes to me. And so most of my books are in that format where I have an issue, I have a problem, and then I ask the question, and then I record what the ideas are that comes to me. And so it's kind of like a conversation with the divine, or a dialogue back and forth. And it's based around my problems, the things that are going on with me, and they're not that uncommon. So I wrote the books because I felt like if a person could relate to what's going on with me, that they could take these really great ideas that come to me and they could use those for a benefit for them and help them, right? And then I was going through a very, very difficult time in my life where I was going through a divorce. I was going through this really, really traumatic thing about me kind of like moving out and so on. And I was just so torn up. This was the most difficult time of my life. But I was taught all my life in my religious upbringing about this person named Jesus, and how great he was. He was like the hero in my discourse, right? And so I went to him. And I started asking questions, and I started talking about my problems. But more interesting, I wanted to find out about him, kind of like we're doing here.
Yes.
And the way this works, Maria, is that it's actually like a conversation back and forth, where I ask a question, and then he talks back to me, and then I record what he says, right? So I was concerned because in the representations of him in the Bible, in the New Testament, a lot of people have been critical of that because it may not be accurate. Most of the people that write about him never met him. And so there's some questions about the authenticity of this, right? So I had this really intriguing idea. I thought, wonder if I could just ask him questions, specifically him, right to the source, right?
Yes.
And get the answers right from him.
Yeah.
And so this book, which I called Jesus Live, which is the one that's published, self-published.
What's the title?
Jesus Live. Yeah. This is this really fascinating ideas where I asked him about all these different events in his life, like what was happening with him when he was a child, what was his parents like, what was the experience of like going to the temple like, what was it like to have these people kill him, and what was his experience with all that. And he was so forthcoming, and he's the most beautiful man. He has the most subtle yet deep concepts, and so this, I was just like in awe. I'm like, wow, this is so cool, because I felt like this would clarify the concepts that have been traditionally brought down from him, and that this was like from the source, right? This is the man himself. So anyway, the book is about that. So I suppose that to answer your question, most of my writing is an effort to be very open and honest about my foibles, my problems, my issues, and then to counter that with these really beautiful ideas that I was given to help me and assist me to try and step up my own life. And so, and then the one I talked to you about, which is in that vein, in that genre, because when I was going through this really, really difficult time in my life, Jesus was so caring and so loving, and almost like he didn't get involved with all my drama and my emotions. And what he did was he just helped me with these ideas and concepts and explained, okay, well, this is what I did. This is what happened with me. And in that way, he was teaching me, right?
Yep.
Teaching me how
your question is being answered at the same time you're writing the book.
Precisely. Yeah, so that was the whole thing, and my big dream is that somehow that these ideas and my effort to be a good listener in this regard will help some people. Like they'll have some tools, and the ideas, Maria, is that we have lots of ideas that are flowing around our world, right? And lots of them are kind of replication. Like somebody writes a book, right? And someone reads that book, and then they write a book about that.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But there, I don't know of hardly any ways that we can step out of this sphere, this world sphere, and get the ideas of the universe, right? And so what I wanted to do is step up the conversation. I wanted to bring in the ideas of the universe that have been around for a long time, which my opinion are much bigger and much more profound and much more interesting. And so I wanted to bring those ideas because I feel like as people start to read them and conceive them, that it's going to elevate the whole society. It'll elevate the world with these concepts because they're different. They're very unique. They're from a perspective that's so much bigger than just our day-to-day stuff.
So you have 4 books. One is Jesus Life, right? What are the other 3?
So I tried to create a series. They start with just love, and then there's one growing with the goddess, and then there's another one about where I was communicating with her, and then the other two. I have one that's called God Live, and then I forget what the other one is. It's been a while, but
I love the Jesus Life, the title, right? I wanna read that book because that's very interesting. Here's the deal: is God always look after us. Do we know those people that look after us? And that your book, Jesus Life. Now, while you are talking about the book, I was like, I want to read that book because I want to know, that it's not only about you, but it's also your readers, right? So I will ask you I will ask you where we can find that book in a moment. But anyways, moving on, you were in the audio visual production company for over 20 years. Is that your business or you work for them?
There's a group of what we call AV technicians, right? And they work for different companies. There's different vendors in town. Jeremy is a part of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so what happens is that there's a show that comes in town, maybe it's Microsoft or Amazon or whatever, right? And so what they do is each one of us has some particular skills and that they need, and so they'll give us a call and say, hey, can you come in, do the show? And so what we do is we'll set up the show, run the show, and then we'll close it down and wait for the next one.
Wow, so that's over 20 years.
Yeah.
What changes have you seen so far when it comes to media?
Well, that's a really good question. And of course, it's very, very big, right? The technology, of course, has been the biggest piece. We started with really dated type technology, and it just keeps getting better and better. Everything, the lighting, the microphones, the cameras, everything is improving. The ability to switch and record and edit. As you know, you're in that industry.
Yes.
Yeah, things just change rapidly.
Yeah. One of my client before told me that he was in Hollywood for so long, and then one day he said, Maria, I want to produce my movie. He produced already movies. He said, can we do something like this? So I went to his studio and bring in 3 cameras, 3 lights, and it's like, he was looking at me and I'm like, that's all you need? I said, yeah, where's your crew? I said, me, I'm the crew right here. And it's like, do you know, Maria, I've been in this movie filmmaking business for over 50 years. He's old. He's a senior. And he said, every time we hire people, they have 20 people and a truck of equipment.
Correct.
And you are bringing this to me, and he was like, this is what changes. This is the changes of technology now, and he's so happy with the things that we've done so far.
Yeah, you've done a really great job of that, right? Because you don't have the facilities or the money for all of that.
Yes.
So what you're doing is you're making it happen in a forum that you can do, correct?
Correct.
And all the things you're doing, and it's amazing what you're accomplishing.
Oh, thank you. Well, what do you think? Actually, you have your own podcast.
Yes.
Is this the reason why you transitioned to podcaster, because of your experience in the past?
I would say it definitely has helped me, because without that experience, it would be very difficult to figure out all this stuff, right? Fortunately, I've had experience with audio and video and all these different things.
And those are not easy to,
No, there's a lot of learning that comes for that, and so that's great an opportunity for me, because similar to you, I didn't have the resources to create something big like I was used to working, right?
Yeah.
I have to do something I can do on my own. So I do my own switching, I do my own audio, you know the routine.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
We were talking about it. We were talking about it before we started the show.
Yeah. So, but I think it's really wonderful, though, that we do have the technology where individuals, entrepreneurs, creatives can do that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't available to us, like 5 or 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a lot of people doing it similar, and they're doing well with it. So it's really quite amazing that we have the technology. The whole idea of the internet, of being able to stream, of being able to share our ideas with other people, and have it all be available to anybody in the world is quite remarkable.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. If you're looking for prayer or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want. I'll get right back to you. So if you need prayer, you need help, you just need somebody to talk to, Modern Word Ministries is here for you. We are your church in the community. So until you see you next time, be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.
Films is a full-service production company that provides motion picture quality content and production services for use in the film and TV industry. Looking for a seasoned crew, high-quality equipment, or other production services for your film, TV, commercial, corporate convention, sports, news, or interview project? Your search stops here. Some of our projects include NASCAR, American Restoration, Pawn Stars, Counting Cars, Top Chef, BattleBots, Forge and Fire, and Street Outlaws. We have also produced over 60 feature films and documentaries. We're ready for all your needs. Whatever your project, whatever your budget, big or small, Got Films got you. GotFilms.com.
Yeah. So what is the main topic, or what is the main purpose of your podcast?
Thanks for asking. The nonprofit that I created was based around this notion that I felt like every problem that we have as humans has a spiritual result for it, right? Mm-hmm. There's a solution for everything that occurs to us. And most of the time, sometimes we talk about superficially, but I believe that it's deeper than that. So if we find the spiritual solutions, then that's the element that will be most effective and last the longest. So Spiritual Solutions is the nonprofit, and the podcast is about that. It's about how do we find these solutions that are going to assist us in our lives, mm-hmm. and to step up our personal development. when I've looked at life, I feel like that there are a number of different things that each one of us can do to step up our lives. And then particularly, as I said before, if we can take the biggest concepts, the greatest ideas, the ideals from the universe, then that's going to help us to evolve into even the best possible human beings that we can be.
Wow, that is an incredible gift that you are mentioning right there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, where they can find your podcast?
So right now I have a podcast just on my name. It's on YouTube, and so it's just YouTube / my name, which is PaulProws, and I have been working on the technology and trying to get it working, and I had to work on myself as well because sometimes it's hard to get up and get a video going, and make a decision. Okay, I'm going to talk about this topic. You know the routine. It's so difficult.
I've been through it. I've seen it. One of my biggest skills is to lift up people and get them going.
Wonderful.
Yes, that's one of my thing. And one more question: do you do your coaching too on your podcast, or just for your nonprofit?
That's I want to do. I'm just now at the point where I feel like I could bring guests in and talk with them. And what I prefer to do is to start bringing some guests in, via the internet, and then have coaching sessions online.
That's awesome.
Because I think that would help people to see other people, to see the answers and the problems, the issues, and talk that. So I'm working on that. I've got a couple of clients that are very interested in that, but I've got a couple of technology issues to deal with. But once I can get like the podcast, right now it's just mostly me and my conversations with the divine. But eventually what I want to do is I want to step that up and bring up, because similar to what you're doing here in a physical format.
Yes. I will. I'm not gonna talk a lot about me, but where they can find your book?
All the books are on Amazon.
All on Amazon.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I had some on Google for a while, but I think they might have shut that down. I do have also some paper copies, some printed copies that are available to people. I'm doing autographed, signed copies of the books. If they want to contact me directly, I'll ship it to them.
And the website? Do you have a website?
I do. It's just my name.
PaulProws.com.
Yeah. And they can access me. And then my Gmail is my name again. There's a repetition there, right? So you can get a hold of me anytime at my name at gmail.com. If any requests, any concerns, or anything shows up.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Paul. Thank you so much. It's been a blessed interview, actually. Your journey is truly inspiring.
Thank you.
And I know it from the very first time. Paul actually has this biggest heart that you can imagine, and he probably pray for everybody on earth. He probably thank everybody for everybody's flaws, or ask forgiveness, for everybody's mistakes, and thank everybody for the people who are ungrateful. That's how I felt about you. I just said it. Well, audience, thank you so much for joining us today with Paul Prows. And keep in mind, Let's Talk World is available or live broadcasting every Monday to Friday at 3 p.m. non-stop. Just go into socialmediashows.com, and we also have live broadcast from 9 a.m. starts with Modern World Ministries and ends up with Las Vegas Tonight, Monday to Friday. Saturdays we starts at 12 noon with all our event live coverage, red carpets, events, awarding, and everything every Saturday 12 to 7 p.m. And on Sunday, all day is the Modern World Ministries Sunday messages from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So please stay tuned. By joining us on our live broadcast every day is a big support, big help for our channel. So please continue on your support, and we will see you guys again next week.